we got? We got a pile of rocks right here. Okay, penguins. Yes, we always have penguins. Penguins are always around. Time to move them out of the way so they stay safe. But yeah, pile of rocks, right? Coticules. Been getting a lot of questions lately and seeing a lot of questions posted in various places. But anyway, I sift through and I see what people are talking about, and I figured maybe it was time to do a coticule article. And it's not going to be so exciting. We're just going to look at some stones, and I'm going to explain some stuff, some basic stuff, maybe do a little honing, I don't know. Anyway, so let me clear some of this stuff out, you know, so I can kind of get started. So anyway, check that piece out. Yeah, that's a piece of coticule. It's sealed in cashew lacquer. That's one of my pieces. Well, actually, all of this is my stuff. No, literally, these are my coticules. I may sell a couple of these, but this is my pile of stuff. Anyway, so, you know, people, first thing, you know, they want to talk about, is it a vintage coticule? I get people ask me that all the time. Is that a vintage coticule? And I want to respond with why. Why are you asking? You know, this stone, this stone, this stone, these are like all the same age, you know, give or take like a couple of million years. Some people say that stuff mined long ago is better than stuff mined today. And, you know, that's a really tough call to make. Because I don't know, you know, like what kind of sample size the person saying that has under their belt. What do they have? 20 stones? 30 stones? How many coticules you think have been quarried over the years? Like billions? Millions? So some guy who tried 20 stones, he knows best. And he says older stones are better. So out of the 20 stones he has, how many were old, how many were new, and how exactly did he come to that determination? Was it really a scientific process where he had a theory, he had conjecture, he tried to prove it, tried to disprove it, had the same results recreated in other places by supporting people? No, it's just opinion. You know, people say, oh, well, I tested it. And no, you didn't test it. You tried it. Okay? You tried it. It's not a test. Okay, done with my pet peeve. Anyway, old stuff, new stuff, whatever you're into, it really doesn't matter. I've had old, I've had new. I've gone back and forth over that line a million times. You know what I like? I like the stone that I like. Okay? If I have a stone and I like how it is, I don't care if it's old or it's new. This stone here is one of the best I've ever had. Okay? This is from the new vein, Patus or something, Las Patus. It's the new quarry, and it is a natural combo. Okay? And I don't know, it's the best I've ever had, but it's one of the best. It's awesome. Okay? It's an awesome piece of stone. I would put it up against anything. I can hone very well on this, you know. I have a hand-selected Dressante from old Peru. This came from the quarry, Anne Catrien, who is the daughter of Maurice, picked this one out for me. And you see it's got my name on it up here. I can never hone on this stone because she wrote my name on it. It's like, wow. I know that sounds stupid, right? But that's the way I am with stuff. La Dressante, it's got manganese lines running through it. People say, oh, it's a sign of speed. Based on what? But yeah, how many stones? I've had fast stones without that, and I've had fast stones with it. I don't know. You know, all this stuff. Oh, I read it in Hank Boo's paper. You know, I read Hank's stuff too, and great guy that he was, you know. Sometimes not everything everybody thinks is right or correct or whatever. So I think it's a very pretty stone, and it's Dressante, so that you don't see too many of these anymore. When I got into coticules, Dressantes were everywhere. Like I said, this is Patus. It has a nice tiger striping to it. It's very smooth stone. Natural combo. Belgian blue on the back. I have no use for this stuff, but it's, you know, well, it's attached. It's part of the rock, so it's there. And you can see it has like a soft fade, soft transition. People like to make a big deal out of that. Doesn't mean anything, really. It just is what it is. But it looks kind of cool. I like that, like, sort of vapory look. All right, so that's that. This is a full size. You know, this is a great bench stone. This is also Patus. You know, it's a stone this big. This is my normal size stone. This is like what I need. You know, it's 130 millimeters, something like this. You have all this extra distance here. That makes this really good for like, if I want to knock out mid-range, and I got that. It's almost like having another stone there. So I'm getting a lot done with very little back and forth, or less back and forth. Cuts my lap count in half. I'm not worried about making mistakes with a higher lap count. It's just nicer sometimes to have the distance. This is like 8x3. Now, this is slate backed, you know, and people ask me all the time in Etsy, they're like, is this a natural combo or is this slate backed? It says in the listing, says slate backed. I don't know. Maybe I should just put it in the photo or something. It doesn't make it less of a stone. It's just slate backed. You know, the BBW Belgian blue on the back here is nice, but I don't use it. You know, I don't want to. This slate is unusable. There have been lots of people out there, not lots, but a couple who have honed on it and said it worked great. It doesn't work great. It's not honing quality slate. All right, so if you tried it and it worked for you, that's great. In general, this is not a honing surface. It's not a honing material. It's just slate. If you feel it, it's got all kinds of weirdness in it. Anyway, so maybe there's a good piece out there. I don't freaking know. You know, some other stuff that people have been asking about. Someone asked me, what does less Latinus mean? This is like the holy grail for Coticule guys. And, you know, it's kind of funny because when I came around, these were popular. I bought a couple. I paid through the nose for them. You know, I started honing on them. I'm like, wow, geez, this is different. This is cool. I like this. I'm getting sharper edges. I love this honing a lot better. Now I'm kind of back and forth with whether or not I like yellow Coticule or I like this less Latinus. People call it a hybrid. I don't think hybrid is the right term, but we can call it hybrid because the honing police aren't going to jump in here and handcuff me. But basically, you see this swirly pattern. Now, you can have swirly pattern on stone that isn't less Latinus, hybrid. Whoa. So just swirls doesn't mean anything, but you can see it. You can see it in the side. Yeah, this one is sealed too. I'll explain that in a minute. But it's got a look to it, you know. There's another piece of it around here someplace. There we go. All right, this is a little less blue, and it's a natural combination with regular yellow Coticule on one side and some nice hybrid on the other. Now, I was enjoying these back when I started honing, when I got one. But mostly it was like, wow, that thing is cool. I love the way it looks. I got to get one. So I started honing, and it was like, whoa, this is different. And then there were poobahs saying, well, no, it's no different. You shouldn't pay any more money for them because it's still Coticules, and they're not going to be any different than like a yellow Coticule, so you shouldn't be spending any more money. Blah, 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 blah. I kept saying, no, man, these things are different. I could feel it. I could see it. You know, hello, look at that. Why would anybody think these are like the same stone? I don't know. The world of forums and honing is weird. You know, fucking poobahs falling out of the ceiling, talking all kinds of shit out their ass all the time. They think that like they get 50 blades under their belt, and they're inclined to, you know, own the title of poobah and then start telling everybody what to do. Some of them don't even wait for 50 blades. They get like 5 blades, and 4 of them are gold dollars, and they stop pontificating like left and right. Been seeing that a lot on Facebook lately. It's just really annoying. Anyway, back to this. Eventually, Hank Booz did some kind of like testing or whatever, and figured out that this is actually like a super kind of quartz, whereas this is garnet. Garnet-based abrasive. Okay, spessartine garnets, by the way. There's a whole world of garnets out there. So these are like spessartine. I think spessartines have 3 basic particle shapes, all based on the same sort of like look, which is kind of like a golf ball, but like faceted. Anyway, this stuff is like quartz and chlorite, and the particle size is, I think on this is like 1 micron, and these are like, I don't know. Let's just say they're a lot bigger, okay? Huge compared to this, all right? What does it mean at the end of the day? Read my thing on particle size, on my website. Particle size is only part of the story. Yeah, obviously there's going to be a huge difference. These are like 8. No, it can't be like 8, but whatever it is. This is like several orders of magnitude smaller, you know, and it's a completely different type of abrasive, so it's got a different cut, so that has the different feel. So I felt, you know what, vindicated when I read that, but I was also kind of annoyed because I kept saying it, nobody wanted to believe me because the poobahs were in town. Anyway, that's a really nice Les Lat. It's a glued combo, has Belgian blue on the back. It's sealed because a lot of times this is very brittle stone. If you hit them just wrong, they can just shatter. I remember Neil Miller had one that like went like in quarters. It was like heartbreaking. I think he just, you know, boom, dropped it like that and went. Phew. I've had them flake. I've had them split. I don't like to cut them. I don't like to touch them for any type of adjustment. The way they show up is the way it goes. I recently cut the slurry stone for this one. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over there. It's curing, actually. The cashew isn't dry. Yeah, I cut that one because it was too big. No, wait, that wasn't it. This one, excuse me while I lose my mind. This one goes with that, is what that is. Okay, this one, hold on. See, this is what I do in my free time. I seal stuff. This is the one I was sealing to match this. This was actually twice the size, so here's the sister piece, right? It was a problem piece. It's a problem stone. I needed to do a fill on the back side. Where is it? I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there, right? That little like sort of mouth like opening. Well, it's not an opening. It used to be an opening, but I filled it with a putty, and now it's sealed and curing. It flaked. It almost shattered when I cut it. I hate cutting this stone because it's so brittle. This one has a fill too. In fact, I just did it tonight. You can see here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand that down, maybe file, all right, or use my diamond plate. I'm not sure yet. And then I'm going to seal this so everything stays hunky-dory. Do I have to do this? No, I do not. But this is kind of rare stuff here, and I think the gouge in this piece of blue here is natural combo. It was like a tunnel going in. It definitely is going to cause a stone to crumble after a while. So I sealed it, and that's that. You know, that's what I do. All right. Excuse me. Anyway, so we got that. And we started talking about new stones and old stones, and I'm telling you, I don't care, but, you know, this is an older piece of stone. Notably old, by the way. It is a natural combo. You can tell by the hokey line. It's kind of like wavy and squishy and uneven. There's no glue marks. It's just the way the stone came out of the ground. It is not the best shaped piece in the world, but it's big enough for doing some honing on. This down here, this rolled off edge is kind of annoying, but you know, and it's annoying in that I wish it came all the way up straight flush, but it's pretty, you know, it's reasonably hard, and you know, I hone really well on it. This is a piece of some kind of hybrid. I'm fairly certain that hybrid is the wrong term, but it's like Les Lat, but it's not Les Lat. It doesn't feel at all like Les Lat. It is very possibly the hardest coticule I've ever honed or lapped or done anything with. That's why I put all that work into that tomo, because this is like a spectacular piece of something that's going to take me a long time to figure out. I started honing on it. It does a fantastic job. The blue on the other side has a very nice soft feel to it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. Well, I know it came from, you know, Belgium, but I had never seen this pattern before with this heavy, heavy blue streaking running through it. I have a piece I'll show you. My big Les Lat is it's a Bout. I know we like to say Bout. Yes, technically this is a Bout. That's how you pronounce it, I believe. Hopefully I got that right. When I started honing, it's spelled B-O-U-T, so I call them Bouts. I don't know, man. I don't want to pretend that I'm French or Belgian, because I'm neither French or Belgian. But This is an ass-kicking piece of stone, man. Really is. This is really sweet. Also, I've had a lot of less lat. I've had a ton of it, actually. And these two are amongst the most exceptional I've had. Now, I have other pieces here. I got this weirdo Nagura, this slurry stone. I have no idea what this is. I saw it on a website. Had to have it. It kind of looks like a tree or something. I don't know. Thought it was cool, so I bought it. No real need for that, but it's something that, you know, kicks around here. La Viennette. I have another piece of La Viennette here. And is there another one kicking around? No, there isn't. Well, actually, yeah, I have these two little psycho slurry stones from David that I had to bring out. I think this one is Giussante, and I think this one is La Vie. Both very special to me because they're nuts. Only a real maniac would cut stone like this, and then he squirreled it into a box and sent it to me, and it was like, wow, this is so cool. Actually, you know, you don't even need more slurry stone than that. That's enough for like a lifetime. But you know, we all want to have like slurry stones like this big. You know, this is really cool. Anyway, those are in my collection. La Viennette. People are oh crazy about La Viennette. There was a period of time on the forum where every stone anybody found, the first thing out of everybody's mouth was, "I think that's a La Viennette." I got to the point where I wanted to scream. I was like, if your stone didn't come from the mine today and Maurice did not hand it to you and say this is La Viennette, you're guessing. And you're not a geologist. And there's a bazillion types of stone that were pulled out of those holes in the ground in Belgium. And you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay? So stop telling people, oh, I think it's a La Viennette. Why? Why do you think that? Because it looks like what? To you, it looks like one. All right. Sorry, this stuff just annoys me sometimes. Anyway, this is certified La Viennette. Okay, and it has the, one of the things that some La Viennettes have, not all of them, is this like white line running through the blue. And it's very pretty. You know, and you can see this is actually two different types of stone. The one, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. This one is yellower and creamier. This one's whiter and a little bit drier. They're both very nice. They're both back with, what do you call it, blue, and they're both natural combo. Maurice had given me a hand-selected piece of La Viennette, and until I got this was another hand-selected piece from him. This bumped the La Viennette out. So this is your natural combo here. It's got that faded line to it, and then you can see this is also a natural combo, but the line is sharper. In the world of certain veins like La Grise or even La Verte, you might get accustomed to finding stone with this fade to be a little softer. I don't know that that is entirely true 100% of the time, but I have had a pile of Verte and La Grise with this soft fade, and they were softer than the ones that had a harder line. What does that mean? Don't mean squat. Because all that matters is you get the stone, you try the stone. The stone is what the stone is. What the guy in the forum thinks, or what somebody else on Facebook thinks they remember, doesn't mean shit. All that matters is what is your stone doing for you right now. Okay? And people are like, oh, that's a great stone. How do you know it's a great stone? You know, could be a great stone, could be a turd. You know, just people should stop throwing generalizations around. Here's a nice piece. Don't see this too often. This is La Petite Blanche. It's my LPB slurry stone. It sits in a box with other cool slurry stones. It was a partner to a piece of stone that was like the fastest bevel cutting natural stone I ever had. I could set a bevel on that stone in like 12 minutes. In fact, I did once. I just didn't like the stone that much, but this slurry stone reminds me of it. It's a nice piece, and I don't know, I keep it around for posterity. Nothing important. Another piece of less lat, different type. This is from the new quarry, not the old quarry. And again, it's a natural combo, has yellow coticule on one side, absolutely no fade, no line. It just morphs right into a regular coticule, and it's sealed so it doesn't flake and chip and get weird. That's what I was trying to allude to. This stuff is brittle. If you get a flake, it can run, it can fissure, it can just like freak out on you. So I like to limit the amount of water ingress, and I like to protect myself from any fissures or tiny flaws that I might not just see like right out of the gate. So the sealing like definitely kind of helps. On this stone here, for example, I forget exactly where it is, but it's over here. And you're never going to see it. So you just have to trust me. It's because it's real little. Right there. I was putting the lacquer on. I used very thin, very, 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 very thin, like almost like pure thinner almost. And it was running in and it was coming up through this fissure that you wouldn't see, okay, until you put the lacquer on. So I did that a bunch of times until it got sealed up. And that's one of the things about cashew lacquer. It's not just a candy shell. It actually has an adhesive property to it, and it goes in there and it actually like grabs the stone and adheres to it and forms like, it doesn't become a part of the stone, but it becomes a part of the stone in a way. So I'm confident now that this is watertight and protected. So that's that. Anyway, put this one over here because it's like a normal shape. And what do I got? I got the ZY. Yeah, the ZY, sister to the gold dollar. I'm actually finding this to be better. This particular one better than the gold dollars that I have. There's no consistency with these things. They're just made out of, I don't know, melted car bumpers and air conditioner chassis and whatever other crap they could get into the smelter so they could form some steel ingots to cut down and stamp out these lovely blades for $2 retail. I have found that this hones better and holds an edge better than the gold dollars that I have. Now, I know it's an anomaly because there are people out there who have had just total turds and, like, you know, chunks of metal literally falling out of the bevel. You know, gold dollars do that too. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff. They're like, oh, these are great. No, well, for you maybe, not for me. But this has been holding its own, you know, so what I'm shaving with is a Wade & Butcher, all right? What I'm testing stones out with is that Wade & Butcher and this POS, all right? Why? Because, why not? You know, it's only like a couple of bucks, but I paid for it, right? So which slurry stone should I use? Well, you know, people say, oh, you want to use a softer one, it's faster. You want to use a harder one, it's slower. You want to use a finer one, you want to use a coarser one. You can start off with BBW and then flip over to the... Don't confuse the shit out of yourself or somebody else with all of that nonsense, all right? Pick a freaking slurry stone, make some slurry, start honing. That's the drill, all right? This is a very nice stone. When I got it, it was funny the way I got this. I had a batch of stones come and the order was short. And I was going to blow it off, but, you know, they cost a good bit of money, these things today, even wholesale. So I was like, nah, I can't do that. I like Maurice. I like the family. His daughter's great. The people that work for him are great. Everybody at the mine, they're all great. I love them. Well, I don't know them to love them, but I love working with them. Anyway, so I emailed him. Maurice is good about stuff like that. And he said, well, you know, do me a favor, check the box again. If it's not there, let me know. And whatever. And I said, yeah, okay, I checked. It's not there. Don't worry about it. Just the next time I place an order, put another stone in the box. And he was like, okay. So he sent me this. And I was like, whoa, that's a nice upgrade. And I know he picked it out. And you see, he wants to do the right thing because he's that kind of guy. And all right, the feedback here is interesting. It's a little different than a lot of Coticules. How to explain it? It doesn't have that fast zippy type of feeling. There is a little bit of a sort of a wet fabric type of thing going on there, but it's not like corduroy, okay? It's not like velour either, because velour is sloppy. This is more like, I don't even really have a word to describe it, to be honest, okay? But it's very smooth, and it's very consistent, you know? And I don't know if you can hear that. I got a good undercut, and I got a nice feel on the stone. Feedback translates up through the blade nicely. It's not muted at all. It's very clear. I guess what I'm feeling here is like if I could have like clay that's wet but still extremely solid. Not like solid like frozen, but not frozen. There's like a hard mudstone. This is kind of what that feels like. My mind is saying that this would feel like that. You know, real mudstone is just going to go mud on you. But so it's like a very fine, silty. You know how silt has a feel like dirt, but it's real wispy and it's very like feels very, very fine when it goes through your fingers. That's kind of the sensation I have here. I have light discoloration in the slurry. Now you notice I'm doing X strokes. I know a lot of people use circles. My friend Nelson uses circles. He finishes up with X strokes. I've never been real big on circles. It's just one of those things for me. I know Dr. Matt had a stone that, I don't know, in his case using circles caused some sort of like weird anomaly at the edge. Stuff like that, I usually feel it. Okay, when I have weirdness, if there was a particle rolling horizontally under my bevel, I know you're not going to believe me, but I'm going to feel it. I really am. I have felt things on blades and then put them on the scope and found it, okay, and been like, yes, I knew that was there. You know, I go through that all the time, actually. I don't know if it's from playing guitar. I don't know if it's from being like an obsessive lunatic. I work with my hands a lot. I have calluses up on my fingertips. I think that accentuates sensations sometimes. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Maybe I just hone too much and stuff like that seems to jump out at me. Yeah, I really love honing on this stone. The feeling is fantastic. I've gotten amazing, sharp, keen, smooth edges. You know, people ask me all the time, like, you know, what's better, Janats or Coticules or Thuringians or Eschers or Zulus or, you know, and it's like, look, whatever you like, man. You get a stone, you check it out. You see how it goes. Coticules do not have a grit rating. They work in a rather peculiar fashion. We add to that fashion by using slurry, and we cheat the stone by working with the slurry and diluting it. See, that was Keith's Dulicot right there. None of this 2 drops, 10 strokes bullshit. You know, that was going on when I got into the forums, and I was like, are you guys kidding me? Hone 10 times, 10 strokes, add a drop. A drop. How big is a drop? Is it a cc? Is it a half a cc? Is it legitimately a drop? Do I have to get a dropper? No, I don't do that. I hone till I feel a change. I dilute. I hone some more till I feel a change. I dilute. The thing with Coticules you have to be careful of is you can really mess your edge up if you hone too long on a particular dilution. You got to ride each dilution is like another slurry. I know, it's the same slurry, but you're changing its state and you're changing its particle density, right? The particles are not breaking down. They're gone. They're laughing at you, okay? They might be wearing a little bit, but for the most part, they're not what we call breaking down. So the only thing we have is to dilute. You dilute the slurry so you have less abrasive in here or per volume. And you keep adding water to it. Now with me, what I do is, you can't see it, but it's over here. I dump a little off the stone, right? And then I do that. Yes, I should be more methodical and I should be more accurate and whatever. And it's a razor, man. I'm going to shave hair off my face. Like I said earlier, the honing police are not going to pop out of my closet and bust me. People want to know how much pressure. I got a laugh once on Straight Razor Place. Somebody was asking Lynn Abrams what kind of pressure, and he said, medium. Medium, really, medium. Could you be a little more defined with that, please? But you know what? Lynn's right. It was medium pressure. There's light, but and you figure it out. You know, people want to know like how many pounds per square inch. They want to get like pizza scales out and start weighing shit. And you know, doctor, it hurts when I do this. Yeah, so stop doing that. The same thing applies for honing, but you do it in reverse. Doing something and it's not working, stop doing it. Do something else. Try different things. Okay, and there aren't that many things to try. Okay, trust me, you'll hit it. Okay, be methodical, make incremental changes, make one at a time. Don't make 40 changes and then be like, wow, I solved my problem. Well, maybe you did, but you don't know what solved your problem. It could have been any one of the 40 things, you know? Avoid what I call the cumulative effect. Okay, you got these guys, they come on, they try and hone, it doesn't work. They go on the forum and they're like, no, this isn't working. So 400 guys come on, give him 8,000 suggestions. He starts mixing and matching, starts doing all kinds of stuff. And every day he sits down with his blade and he goes back to the bevel set and he goes over and he goes over and he goes over and he's trying all this stuff until one day, okay, he's honing with boiling water, 2 sweet and lows in a tea bag, okay, on the bottom of a coticule, all right? And he winds up with a shaving edge, and he's like, wow, that's great. This guy told me to do this, and it worked fantastic. When all that really happened was he managed to set the bevel that one time, okay? And that was his problem to start off with. And he got there by repeatedly resetting the bevel that wasn't set in the first place. In other words, on the 5th time, he finally got it. Everything else that followed that was whatever. The fact that the bevel was set gave him a nice edge, and that's the first time he felt sharp, so he thinks it was 2 sweet and lows in the tea bag. No, it wasn't. Okay, so you got to watch out for that stuff. You know, forums are a double-edged sword. Same thing with Facebook. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got direction. Everybody wants to help, but too much help can confuse the snot out of everybody. But it's only honing. So if somebody goes home and hones and it doesn't work out, nobody dies. All right? So there's that. The feeling on this is incredible. I'm going to love shaving with this edge. This was actually, I'm completely undoing the work that was done today. This had a JNet edge on it already. But it had some shaving on it. It didn't really have that crisp off the stone feeling, which is what I like about straight razors. I don't like blades that have been around for weeks on end. It just, you know, shit bores me. It just feels so generic. You get a blade right off the stone. It's got that crisp attack to the whisker that you just don't get on a blade you've been maintaining with leather for a couple of weeks. Yeah, that blade that's been around a couple of weeks is going to be a little milder. It's going to be a little more comfortable. You can shave your face like freaking D'Artagnan. You do all types of like crazy fencing moves. But it's not for me. I like crisp. So, yeah, pressure, some, just some pressure. My point is you don't want to distort the blade. You don't want to flex the blade. That's going to cause you to dig into the stone, no good. And you're going to increase the size of your bevel, no good. And you're going to take the apex up off the stone, no good. So you want to make contact and you want a little bit more, but you don't want too much more than that. When you get to finish, I start to lighten up. Depending on the stone, will depend on how much pressure I use when I'm finishing. There aren't many coticules where I don't use any kind of pressure. I may use butterfly wing, I may use weight of the blade, I may pull back on that, but I definitely want the blade to make contact down to the surface of the stone. But I just want it to ride on top. I don't want to bang the edge up. And I'll probably do a series of dilutions. I'm wiping the blade off to get any heavy slurry off of there. Now you notice the undercut on water is much different than it is with slurry. And there's, you know, literally there's a reason for that, man. You have particles in the water, you have a different type of surface tension. It's very hard to get, well, on a coticule, on some coticules, it's very hard to have that same type of undercut. And you may not realize it across the entire edge of the blade sometimes. You also need to have a minimal amount of water for this stage. And that also impacts your ability to create an undercut. More water, faster strokes, all that speaks to it. But I have enough undercut here, and I feel that I'm good. I feel like I could go on for another like 30 minutes too, because honing on these stones is like, puts me in like this almost catatonic state. I can get real chill and real relaxed. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I just want to hone. I don't even care if I make shit sharp. I just want to be running the steel on the stone. I want to get into that rhythm, and I want to feel that texture under the blade, and I want to feel like the little tiny bits of steel being removed. I don't even care about the end result sometimes. I really don't. But then I shake that off and I realize I got to shave with that thing. So I go back to maxing out my edge. But I'm just saying. Anyway, so that's it. This was a little bit about coticules. I hope I answered some questions. I hope I didn't bore anybody. I usually don't do coticule, what do you call it, videos, because, you know, honestly, most of the time I'm working on JNATs, you know. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this this last lat. You've seen it before, some of you anyway. This nice box is done by David also, the guy behind this, of course, right? So we have this, you know, cut out with a little leatherette thing in here, and I added these magnets here too. So I have, it's a little safer. He has this nice clasp. If I did the clasp, it would be like on crooked or something. And here, this, look at that, right? Is that crazy or what? Yeah, it's crazy. I should do a video on honing on this one. Really. This one was selected for me by Maurice again. I have a serious, almost a fetish for cool looking stones. I had explained to him what I was looking for. He sent me a picture. He said, these are the most beautiful slats I've ever seen. If you want them, blah, blah, blah. And stupidly, I sold it. Because I do shit like that. But I sold it to David, who sold it back to me. So, nah, I ain't going nowhere for the time being. You know what? Now I said that, I'm gonna take that lat for a trip soon. Maybe even later. Maybe I'll just even like amp this up a little bit on that stone. But that's a completely different type of lat than this. You saw it look kind of like a painted type of thing, whereas this looks more like, I don't know, like oil paint floating on water or something. Anyway, that's my thing on coticules. I love them. I don't talk about them all the time, but I think they're fantastic. So anyway, my point is that, yeah, I have these. They're in my store because I like them. They work. They do a great job. I believe in them as hones. They're not there just because, all right? And I use them. I just don't use them as much as JNATs. You know, I have, right, I'm not going to even try. And can I do that? Yeah. Okay. I didn't think it was going to work out. I have this monster, okay, that I've been honing with lately. It is a extra hard Awatani. It's very rare. It's very old. I've been honing a lot on that. But, you know, in between, I grab a piece of coticule, well, not this one, and I go at it. My first natural was a coticule. So anyway, you know, that's it. I stand behind coticules as an excellent honing stone to work with. If you have any questions about them, please put them down below. Everyone, I think, should have, anyone serious about honing should definitely have a coticule in their bag. It's just, you know, seriously, you can almost do bevel set on this one. Maybe not with a chip, but go all the way through to final finish. I mean, that's a pretty amazing thing. Yeah, it's a different edge than the JNAT, but that's the beautiful part of having different stones. You got different fingerprints. It's not a matter of which one is best, or the whole thing with particle size and sharpness and all that bullshit. Does it cut your whiskers? It does? Great, because that's the only freaking thing that matters. Anyway, I'll get off my bandwagon now, my soapbox, whatever you want to call it. Listen, have a nice night. Take care. Talk to you soon. And remember, this is about having fun. So get out there, start honing, and make sure you have some fun. Take care.